Om Shri Sai Ram. Welcome, my dear friends, to a new episode of Inspiring Classrooms. Suppose I show you a picture of pizza. Will you be happy? Your hunger will not be satisfied by it, right? So similarly, when we learn a language, just learning the vocabulary is not enough. We should learn the tools and techniques so that we can delve deep and get the soul of the language. And for that, we need the expert guidance of a language teacher. So come on, my dear friends, let us interact with our English ma'am.
Welcome to the episode of Inspiring Classrooms. Rajeshwari ma'am, Saira. We have thought for many years that yes, everybody is a flower sent by Bhagwan. But if this person has a background of Swami, that will be really nice for us. So here is a teacher who was a Bal Vikas student, who became a Bal Vikas guru, who had years of experience. Ma'am, how many years of experience you had in teaching before you joined the school?
For the past 25 years, I'm there in this career.
Oh, wow.
This is my 25th year, and from 2000, I'm handling higher secondary.
So we should be celebrating the Silver Jubilee year, right? And that's why you're here, I think, in this episode.
Swami's grace.
Yeah. What knowledge means? Every teacher is like a lamp. The light that has been lit by Bhagwan, the lamp of knowledge that is lit by Bhagwan, has to be shared with one another.
Yeah.
So I think this is really very nice. And I know you are an English teacher, but I'm curious to know what is the topic that you're going to handle today.
Actually, I took poetic devices, ma'am. Because when we take class in the real classroom, people will enjoy the prose class and then auditory session very much. Grammar session, obviously, they'll be having too much of interest with since we are having smart board. But poetry, a little bit they find very difficult to understand. Since the poet is supposed to be a creator, he just creates with whatever intention that comes to his mind. People say it's a spontaneous overflow of whatever thoughts. It will be very difficult for the people to understand what would be the intention of the poet exactly while he was writing a poetry, and that intention is reflected in the form of the poetic devices. So the devices, if they are able to understand, obviously they'll read and enjoy and get into that, immerse into that poetry, and they'll enjoy. They get a good feel.
Actually, I have a different perspective. I used to wonder, see how the poets are able to express in just 2-3 lines what takes nearly 1,000 words.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you say, these poetic devices would definitely help us to understand the poem better and appreciate the poem also. I'm very eager. Please carry on with that, ma'am.
We have got lot of devices like simile, metaphor, personification, or rhyme scheme, or may take it for the consonants, assonance, or they may be having a lot of difficulty in identifying what would be the intention and understanding the vocabulary. When we look into the vocabulary, we say that continuous ing form of the words used, or the rhythm with that which is employed while the poet has a lot of intentions about. When you and me walking into just looking at the river, we say the river, we would like to swim, we would like to feel the water, that's it. But the poet has a different perspective of men may come and men may go and we go on forever. That sort of an intention the poet only has got. So if the child is able to understand what is the exact device and what is a simile and how he has applied it for, or what is a metaphor and how he has employed it in his poem, and the child would have really enjoyed the poem.
Yeah, we're very eager to learn all that from you now. So let's get ahead with it.
Poetic devices are certain key terms helping in creating a poetry, enhancing the rhythm, meaning, and the emotions felt by those reading it. Let us see some of the poetic devices. We have got lot of types of poetic devices like simile, metaphor, personification, rhythm, rhyme scheme, and so on. Let us take 3 important types in this class. Simile. It's a direct comparison made between 2 unlike objects. Let us see some example. My grandpa walks as slow as a tortoise. My grandpa cannot be related to the tortoise. Both of them are unlike objects, but then they have got one common aspect in them, both of them walking slow. We'll take one more example. They are so cool like cucumbers. Their attitude is so cool, they take everything easy, so they are compared to cucumbers. So, a simile is a direct comparison between 2 unlike objects using the clue words as, like, or so. Let us move on to the second type, metaphor. A metaphor is also a direct comparison made between two unlike objects, but without using the clue words. The snow is a white blanket. He is a shining star. Her long hair was a flowing golden river. The children are flowers grown in concrete gardens. So, all these are comparisons made but without using the clue words. So, it is a direct comparison between two unlike objects without using the clue words. So, it is called as metaphor. Let us see the third type, personification. A personification is also a comparison of the qualities of a person to something that is not human or that is not even alive. Let us see some examples. Golden daffodils fluttering and dancing in the breeze. You can never imagine daffodils dancing and fluttering, isn't it? It's all the attitude of the human. The stars that shine, they stretched in never ending line. So the stars cannot form a line and stand. It's all personified. Wind howling its mighty objection. So, howling is a noise made by the human. The first rays of morning tiptoed through the meadow. So, rays cannot tiptoe. It's a personification once again. Time flew, and before we knew it, it was the time for me to go home. So, we often repeat the term time flew, time is running out, which is a personification. So, it's a comparison of the qualities of a person to something that is not human. On the whole, all the three are comparisons.
Ma'am, your expertise in the language was really reflected the way you explained all those poetic devices. What is the value that you would say for this? I'm very curious to know.
Based on simile, I would like to quote a value, ma'am. Life is like a bicycle. So you should keep on running without caring for ups and downs. So that would be the value.
Yeah, it has a comparison in that itself,
Yeah.
and you also have a value. That's really superb. Means when we talk of poetry, and when you explain personification, I just remember these lines I learned when I was in school. Tagore's poem, I think, Aloft the banners flying o'er ancient Hindustan, a saffron white and green proclaiming freedom sweet as morn. See, they have told, means even the colors saffron white and green meant so much to them. So I think poets are people who can just stir up this emotion, whether it is patriotism, whether it is love, or whatever it is. Man is essentially an emotional being, and poets have this knack of bringing out these emotions in us and expressing our feelings in a very beautiful way. And thank you so much for making us appreciate the wonderful things that are hidden in the poem. So my dear friends, stay tuned for many more such episodes wherein you will be unraveling a lot of treasures from this ocean of knowledge. Subscribe to the channel and also press the notification.